What's up everyone, and welcome back to my channel, or if you're new, welcome. So today I'm really excited because I'm sitting down and I'm just going to be talking to you guys. I feel like I haven't done a video like this in such a long time and it feels so good to just be talking to you. I'm going to be giving you guys an 8-month update on my nose job. If you haven't watched my first video, definitely check it out. I will leave it linked down below. And then I also asked you guys to ask me questions about anything else, any procedure I have done. I am always 100% honest with you guys, so I will be answering those today as well. Before we get into this video, I just want to do a quick disclaimer for two things. If you don't agree with plastic surgery, if you don't like how anything looks, I just want you to click out of this video right now. First, I simply don't care what you think about anything that I've had done. I obviously like it. I obviously know what I look like. I do own mirrors. So if you're just gonna come on here and leave some hate, you can click off right now because I will just block you. I know 99% of you are so supportive of me and you find these videos helpful. But the second thing is that I don't want to take away from the severity of any of these things. These are obviously surgeries and cosmetic procedures, and I don't want to make them seem like, oh, they're just so easy and so fun. They are huge surgeries, and I definitely want you guys to really think about all of these things before you actually go ahead and do it. I don't want to just make it seem like it's like the easiest thing ever and that everyone should do it. These are huge things, very important things to really think about and do your own research on, and not just go based off of what I say. Okay, so now that those disclaimers are out of the way, let's get into it. I'm going to start with my nose and kind of give you guys an update. I got my surgery on, I think it was November 10th. It was early November, so it's been 8 months, and oh my god, the time has flown by. I feel like I literally just had it done. So I got the cast taken off 4 days later, and I didn't have any packing in my nose. It was a really speedy recovery. If you want to know more about my recovery and all that, you can watch the first video. So basically after that, I just went back to business as usual. I didn't really think about it. In terms of pain and all of that, for a few months after the surgery, anytime I would do this, that was cute. Anytime I would do that, I would feel it. It would feel very tight. For the first few months, it actually hurt. I had to be very careful because if I knocked it by accident, it would really hurt. So you just have to be very careful. Now I can touch it, I can scrunch it, and it doesn't feel like anything at all. It feels just like before. For the first 6 months, it is very sensitive. After that, it goes back to normal, and at least I don't feel like anything ever happened. In terms of being able to breathe, I can breathe just like before. I never had any issue with my airways. In terms of swelling, it's so true that swelling will continue to go down for a year after your surgery. I still see changes in my nose every day. I did have a lot of swelling, especially at first, but I never had like crazy amounts of swelling around my eyes. Specifically, the bridge of my nose was getting more and more defined, and I started absolutely loving it. Between January and April, I noticed a little bump on my nose. And what I noticed is that kind of here along the bridge, there seemed to be a random little bump. I'll try to see if I have a picture of it. I probably tried to block that out of my memory because I was like, oh no, I have a bump on my nose. It was like a pretty severe bump. When you didn't see it from the front, you didn't really see it from the side, but when you were on kind of like this angle, you can really see the bump on this part of my bridge. So I was kind of freaking out. I went in to see Dr. Sino. If you guys don't know, I got my nose job done by Dr. Sino in Montreal, and I was like, what's going on? When you touched it, it was very hard, and it felt literally just like it was a part of my nose. So I was ready to go in there and be like, listen, like, when's the next surgery? I was self-conscious of it, even more than my nose before, just because it was a visible bump. You know, my nose before was overall just bigger, but I didn't have a bump on it. Well, I did have a slight bump on it, but where this one, it was like a noticeable bump where my mom would be like, oh, you have a bump on your nose. And I was like, yeah, I do. So I went in and he was like, that is just scar tissue. After you get your nose done, it's very, very normal for scar tissue to form, and that's what that was. And that was the only complication I had with my nose. He injected the bump with cortisone. I've actually had cortisone also injected into the scar under my boob. Something about me, I'm just really prone to building scar tissue. I have scar tissue on my scars for my boobs. I didn't really heal that well. Like the scars underneath didn't really heal that well. Some people are more prone to building scar tissue than other, and I guess It's just how I am. I just love building scar tissue. We injected that with cortisone. It got worse before it got better, so I was kind of panicking, and then the bump like completely went away, and then it also kind of took away whatever scar tissue or swelling was on the bridge, and it really narrowed it down. The second thing that I kind of didn't love about my nose at the beginning was my nostrils. Right when I got my nose done, my nose was very turned up like a little piggy, and you can notice that my nostrils were different sizes and kind of different shapes. Now, that was not his fault. Looking back at old pictures, my nostrils were different sizes and different shapes. I just didn't notice because my nose was very flat. He didn't touch my nostrils at all, so I knew that that wasn't like his mistake. As my nose dropped down, you can't really see them. I don't even notice the difference in my nostrils. At the beginning, like, you could really tell, and when I go back and look at other videos, I'm like, whoa. As of right now, 8 months post-op, I am so happy with the results. Like, this nose is everything I wanted, and I do not regret it at all. I regret not doing it sooner just because I am more confident. When I take pictures, I'm not like hiding my nose. I'm just overall more confident. That's my little update. I wish I had some more interesting things to say to you, but there's not that much stuff to say. I just love it. So now I'm going to get on to the questions that you guys asked me on Instagram regarding everything else. Alrighty, so the first question is, since having surgeries, has your confidence gone up? I love you, Tony, and girl, come to Toronto. I love you, and I really want to go to Toronto. So like I said, yes, my confidence has gone up tremendously. So you guys know I've had my breast done and I've had my nose done, and those two things are the only things that I want to get done on my face or my body. I've wanted to get them done, or I've known that I wanted to do them since I was very, very young, and that's how I knew going into it that it was the right decision. Before my nose job, I would never look people in the eyes, and now I have no issue with that. In terms of my boobs, I got my boobs done when I turned 18. I was very young. I don't recommend doing it that young unless you are 100% sure. As long as you're doing these things for yourself and you're doing it for the right reasons, and not because, let's say, a boyfriend or a friend or a stranger has made a comment about your nose or your breasts, and you're doing it because you want to, I think it will increase your confidence. Okay, so this is a good question. Right after your procedures, were you scared to leave home and show your friends? For my breast, no, because you couldn't really see it when you had a shirt on. All my friends were very supportive, and I wouldn't be afraid to show my friends. However, with my nose, I had to go out in public with the cast on. I was a little embarrassed to do that, but I was never nervous to show them. Was thinking of getting fillers under my eyes after I got my nose done. What do you think? So fillers under my eyes have always scared me, simply because I've noticed that in people who do them, they look very puffy. Now, naturally, your eye does go in under a little bit. So for someone like myself who doesn't have really dark under eyes, I don't really have sunken in under eyes, I would just end up making myself look puffier. I think under eye fillers can really, really benefit people. I'll try to find before and afters. If you go to the right person, they will be able to advise you. I know I brought it up to Dr. Sino, and he's like, you absolutely don't need it. I just would be careful, because if you don't need it and you put filler under your eye, you will end up getting that very puffy, swollen look. Is breast augmentation really painful? Which one did you do? So breast augmentation for me was a little bit more painful than my nose. Well, I would say on a scale of 10, my nose was probably a 2 or a 3. It just felt like a sinus infection. My breast, it felt very heavy. I couldn't really lift my arms. When I had the bandages on, it really burnt my, like, my nipples were burning. Like, they were so sensitive, and that was like beyond painful. It's not really painful by any means. I do have quite a high pain tolerance, but it's not like a walk in the park. You do have some downtime. And which one did you do? I did 345 high profile silicone implants under the muscle. Or do you find that Botox or fillers are good to start at a young age as a preventative? Okay, I'm not a huge Botox advocate. I've done Botox in the past. I just wanted to try it. I did enjoy it, but it's not something I'm rushing back to do. I think that once I get to probably 26 or 28, I will start doing it, but at 21, I think I'm just too young for that. Whereas my sister, who's 23, lives and breathes for Botox. So I think it really depends on the person, but for me, I don't really move my forehead that much. I don't really have an expressive face, honestly. So I'm not too worried about wrinkles, but I know that some people just love it. It is good to prevent. If you can't move your forehead, you're not going to get wrinkles in your forehead. But as of right now, I just really don't think I need it, and I don't want to be injecting things in my face that I don't need. So maybe a little bit down the line, when I'm like in my older 20s, I'll be more consistent, I guess. If you are absolutely petrified of getting wrinkles, Botox will be your best friend. How did your boobs change compared to the first few weeks or months after surgery? I'll try to find pictures. When you first get your boobs done, they sit really high in your chest. They are hard as rocks, and mine were honestly a weird rectangular shape. As time goes on, they drop down and they honestly look like a regular boob. They really look natural. I mean, obviously they're perky and a little bit rounder than some natural boobs, but honestly, like, I don't think anyone would know that I had fake boobs. What did you tell your surgeon you wanted your nose to look like, or what changes? So I really talked about this in my first video. I think I brought in a picture of Chantal Jeffries, I think that's her name. I'll put the picture I brought to him here. I liked how her nose looked. I just really liked her nose. For me, the biggest issue was projection from the side. I really stressed that. I also stressed that I didn't want like a slope from the side. I'd rather like a straight nose. Thoughts on breast implant illness? I want a breast augmentation, but hearing women's stories scare me. I don't have an opinion on them, but I got my boobs done before this whole craze of breast implant illness started. I'm certainly not taking my breast implant out. If I ever do think that my breast implants are making me sick and I need to remove them, obviously I will, but I'm not going to go ahead and remove them just in case. I know they're not making me sick right now. If the day were to come where they were making me really sick, I would take them out, but as of right now, I'm not. It's not really a huge fear of mine. How often do you need to touch up fillers? I touch my fillers up probably twice a year or twice a year, but I do different things when I go in. It's not always the same. Did the Botox injection cost a lot of money, and did it hurt? For injections, I go to Isabel at Visibel Med. She is the absolute best, and she has really affordable price. Well, not really affordable, but they're more affordable than other people I've come across. Botox did not hurt at all. No. Did you ever consider getting a non-surgical nose job with fillers? If so, fan or not? I think for some people, non-surgical nose jobs is a great way to go. For me, I really wanted to kind of reduce the size of my nose. I didn't just have like a bump that I could fix with fillers. So for me, I never considered it. But I think that if you could fix your nose with filler, I would definitely try that before going and getting the real deal. I have filler in my chin. I could have gotten a chin implant, but I chose to do filler. It lasts from like anywhere from 1 to 2 years, so you don't have to do it that often. This is a good question. Are you happy with the size of your breast implants? Would you go bigger or not? So I actually wish I went maybe to like 375 cc's or 375 to 400 cc's. I would, if I wasn't planning on having kids, probably go bigger, just because I feel like I just want them a little bit bigger. They're like as I'm freaking touching my boob, I feel like I want them a little bit bigger, but I'm gonna definitely wait until I have kids and re-approach that situation after. Really happy with the size. I can make them look really big if I wear a push-up bra, but just when I'm like naked, I feel like I could have gone up a little bit. Were you nervous that you wouldn't like it? My nose, 100%. That was my biggest fear, because it's in the middle of your face. If you don't like it, you're fucked. That's what I was most nervous about. I wasn't nervous about the pain or the recovery. I was nervous about not liking it. Will fillers suit anyone? Honestly, I don't think so. I think that everyone is different. Everyone has different needs. Well, they don't have different needs, but say under eye fillers would be better suited for one person and not another, so it really depends on your own face. Do you have any scars after rhinoplasty? No, I do not. I've been getting a lot of questions about the cost of all these procedures. When I got my boobs done, I think it was around $8,000, but I'm sure Dr. Sino's prices have gone up. Again, these prices vary from doctor to doctor. When I got my nose done, his nose jobs range from $8,000 to like 12 or plus. It really depends on the person. Filler depends from doctor to doctor. I think at Visibel, it's around $600 for a syringe. Don't quote me on that. $600 to $800 for a syringe, and then half the syringe costs half of that. It really depends on the doctor, how much you need, every time I go get my fillers done, it costs a different amount just because I don't always do the same things. I don't always use the same amount. And I've paid for everything myself. Like my parents didn't pay for my boobs when I got them done when I was 18. Can you talk about your cool sculpting? Worth it? Cool sculpting for me was very worth it. It really worked well on myself and my sister, but it really didn't work on one of my friends who got it done. I really think it works well on like a squishier fat. The last thing I'm going to answer is what kind of filler I have in my lips. In my lips, I have Juvederm. It is just what Isabel prefers using, and I'm really happy with it. So if you have any other questions, leave them down below and I will answer them in the comment section. I'm sorry if this video was a little bit long. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. Don't forget to subscribe for 3 new videos every single week, and I will see you back here next time.